Good morning, good morning. As you can see, I'm sitting outside this morning, but I wanted to come on here and just, encourage you to just keep trusting God, keep trusting the process. I know sometimes when our prayers that we're praying are not answered, right away, or we feel like God is not hearing us or nothing is happening in the natural. But I promise you, things are happening behind the scenes, things that we cannot see. God is, preparing our blessings for us. And I'm in the same boat as you. I'm trusting and I'm praying to God for a new home for me, a new home for my daughter and son-in-law and their babies. Because right now they're living with me, but, you know, they want their own place. Every adult wants their own place. And, with us living together all the time, my daughter and I, we bump heads a lot. Because she's a woman, she's grown with her own children, her husband and everything, and she wants her own space. And I as well. I want my, quietness and things like that. But I know God is working, for our good. But the reason why I say God is working everything behind the scenes that we're not aware of, my oldest daughter and her husband and their children, for a while they were living with his parents in their home, and they lived with them for years while they were saving up money, to get their own place. Well, like every morning or whatever, every day when my daughter would take my grandchildren to school, she would pass by this house, and she was like, "Oh, I just love this house. It's so cute. I just love it." Well, one day, maybe a few months ago, they were driving by the house or whatever. Well, my son-in-law was driving by the house, and he saw some people out there, in the driveway or whatever. So he stopped, and he was asking them, "Do you own this house or whatever?" And they were like, "Yeah." And he was like, "So what are you planning on doing with it?" Because, you know, he had seen them working on it and all this kind of stuff. So they were like, "Well," it was an older lady, and she's like, "Well, my son, is remodeling the house and whatever." And I'm thinking he's gonna, try to rent it out or sell it or something like that. And she asked him, "Why are you interested?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he was telling her about his family and everything, and their situation. And the lady was like really excited about them staying, moving into the house or whatever. She goes, "Well, I'm going to tell my son about you and your family and everything, and about y'all, wanting to rent the house." Because she let him go inside and look at it, and he fell in love with it and everything. So he said that, I guess, she told her son about him and his family and whatever, and the son was excited, for family to move into the house and everything. Well, long story short, they ended up getting the house. But it's funny because my daughter was like, "Yeah, they had put in all new plumbing, because the person that lived before them, they had like a lot of animals or dogs or whatever in the house, and they tore the house up. So they ended up gutting the whole house, putting in new floors, walls, plumbing, everything, and a new roof on top, a new privacy fence in the backyard. The house is just so beautiful, and it's like, yeah, they had to wait those years before their house became available, but it's like God was working in the background. He was working behind the scenes. He had to get the previous renters out and get the house fixed up perfectly for them. And now my daughter is like, "Well, it feels like this house, we've lived in this house forever. Like, this house is ours. Like, it just feels like it was made for us." So I guess my point is, sometimes we can't see God working, but He is. And He's just getting it all together for us. So just keep, trusting and believing that He is working your situation out for you right now. And that He's getting it all perfect for us, because we don't want to just rush Him and rush the process, and then, it doesn't work out for us. So it brings stress to us. It brings anxiety to us because when we try to do things in our own strength and try to take over God, take over what God is doing, or try to make moves or make things happen ourselves. From experience, I found that when that happens, I'm miserable. Things don't work out like I think they should. There's a lot of stress involved. It's just, I don't know, when we try to take over and just not let God be God, then there's sorrow added to it. But in His Word, it says that the blessings of the Lord make it one rich, and He adds no sorrow to it. So when God blesses you, you will know everything is going to be smooth. Everything is going to be, you're going to have peace about it. And it's going to be like, oh, this was made just for me. God did this for me. So just be patient. Just trust the process. Trust God. Trust and know that He is working behind the scenes on your behalf. And in due time, in God's time, not yours, and in God's time, your breakthrough will come.